$15,754.32. 4 months of 100% pay after a total knee replacement. Almost every veteran I talk to walks into that surgery believing the schedule hands them a full year, and for the hip and the knee it stopped doing that. There's one joint on that same page of the rating schedule that still pays triple what the knee pays for the same class of operation. Carry that number with you.
Think of it like a stopwatch the surgeon starts, not the claim. Chris here, and the important part is that the length of that 100% is written into the code for your specific joint.
Today we go deeper into the one corner of the musculoskeletal schedule that pays a total rating for being healthy again, and where the number of months quietly changed.
The stopwatch stops being a stopwatch the moment you look at 2 joints, Chris. There are 6 of them and they don't agree. Which page are we actually on? 4.71a. Codes 5051 through 5056.
6 codes, 1 for each joint the VA recognizes as replaceable. Shoulder, elbow, wrist, hip, knee, ankle. Each one carries its own length of total rating, its own residual tiers, and its own minimum, and the 6 don't agree with each other. That disagreement is the whole video.
Caroline, this next part is the one people get wrong. The hip and the knee sit at 50-54 and 50-55. 4 months at 100%, not 12. That's the line people are still quoting wrong on every forum I read.
The clause says total replacement. Partial does not count. That word costs people everything.
Careful though, before anyone closes this video. The shoulder, the elbow, the wrist, and the ankle still carry the full year at 100%, and that's not a typo in the regulation. If you want the plain language walkthrough with the code numbers side by side, we keep it free at va.professorerica.com along with the rating tools.
Before you finish that thought, Erica, does anyone tell you which joint decides whether you get 4 months at 100% or a full 12? Nobody asks the surgeon that.
Nobody does. 4 months. And then the schedule does something to your check that almost no veteran sees coming. Real quick, because this next part matters to you. If any of this is helping, tap that like button, then hit subscribe and ring the bell so the next one finds you. Both are free and take about a second, but they tell the algorithm to show this to one more person who needs it. It cuts your rating. That's the thing nobody sees coming. The 100% is temporary by design, and when it ends, the schedule drops you to whatever your residual support.
Which is the part that ambushes people financially. I catch myself doing it on my morning runs in the dark, planning the whole month off the one good split. They budget the check they got in month 2.
Professor Duran is at the desk with us for this one. Dara, take the schedule itself.
Hold on. The question isn't how long the 100% lasts, it's what catches you when it stops. For a total knee, the schedule sets a 30% minimum. Total replacement only. Resurfacing gets the same 4 months and then nothing guaranteed underneath it.
Before I show the 4-month total, over or under $10,000 for a veteran with no dependents?
Under. 4 months of anything isn't 10 grand.
Who counted that? 100% pays $39.38 a month.
Okay. That's the same pot of money I keep underestimating. One pot, 4 months.
$15,754.32. 4 months at the current 100% rate for a veteran alone, effective December 1st, 2025. And then it steps down.
9 times out of 10, the step down is to 30%, and the veteran reads the reduction letter as a mistake. It is not a mistake, it's the code doing exactly what it says.
So a veteran can go from a total rating to 30% in the same quarter, and nothing went wrong?
Nothing went wrong. The reduction letter for a prosthetic replacement isn't a proposed reduction under the usual due process rules. It's the end of a period that was always temporary, and the 30% underneath it's a floor, not a punishment. What you argue about later is whether your residuals support more than 30.
And if it was resurfacing instead, no floor. Different animal. Different animal entirely, the month before any of that starts.
Take a veteran in the sourced case file. 50-something, retired Army supply, 40-something% combined before any of this. He has a total knee done in the spring, March, maybe April, and he assumes the 100% starts the day he wakes up in recovery. It does not. There's a separate rating that runs first, and
Wait, a separate rating? He gets paid twice for one surgery?
not twice, in sequence. 38 CFR 4.30 is the convalescent rating. It pays 100% for 1, 2, or 3 months, running from the first day of the month after he leaves the hospital. Only when that ends does the 4-month clock under 50-55 begin.
Sure, but does the convalescent month stack on top of the 4 months, or is it the same 4 months relabeled?
More money, the schedule says the 4 months commence after the initial grant of the 1-month total rating. So a clean case is 5 months at 100%, not 4.
Okay, so if the convalescence runs from the first of the next month, hang on, let me count it out loud. Discharge in March. April is month 1, then May, June, July, August, 5.
That changes my answer on when to file, genuinely.
$19,692.90. 5 months at 100% for a veteran alone. Both things are true here. It's a lot of money and it's temporary.
And the way you lose it is boring. What's it called? The operative report. That one. If the VA never gets it, the clock starts whenever the paperwork lands, not when the surgeon cut.
So the rep is simple. Before Friday, request the operative report and the discharge summary from the facility that did the surgery. 1 call.
And hold one more number because there's a joint where the same math runs 3 times longer. $19,692.90. 5 months for a knee. Professor Duran is still with us. DARA, the joints that kept the year.
Shoulder, elbow, wrist, ankle. 1 year at 100% following implantation, flat rule.
1 year. Same surgery class as the knee.
DARA. Read me the actual line, not the summary.
For 1 year following implantation of prosthesis, that's the text under 5051.
Fine. That's the clause.
And the convalescent month runs first, same as the knee. 13 months at 100%.
$47,262.96. 12 months alone.
Who counted that? That has to include the 30% floor after.
No, 12 months at the 100% rate, Caroline. The floor comes after, and it's separate.
Withdrawn. That's cleaner.
That's the stopwatch Chris described, and I've watched enough late-night documentaries about hip implants to expect 1 rule, not 6, running 3 times longer on the same page.
Why the split? Same operation, same schedule.
Recovery evidence. The weight-bearing joints were retimed, the others were not.
So the knee got studied and the wrist got ignored.
The wrist kept the older figure, that's the honest version.
And an ankle replacement is rare enough that most raters see one a career.
Which is exactly when the code gets applied wrong.
Cite it in the claim. 5056. Save the argument.
Residuals differ too. 60 for the shoulder, 50 elbow, 40 wrist and ankle.
1 dependency people miss. A revision counts as a new replacement only if every original component is replaced.
DARA, thank you. The revision rule is the sharpest thing at this desk today.
The schedule reads plainly enough.
1 word. Components. There's another word on that page people skim.
Partial. That's the word on the page people skim, and it's the one that zeroes the whole thing out.
Here's the number I held back at the top. $47,262.96. 12 months at 100% after a shoulder replacement, against $15,754 for the knee. Same schedule, same page, same class of operation, 3 times the money. And that's the small version, because the special monthly compensation rule sitting underneath it can add more on top. Hold that one.
Which crutches, though? The hospital ones for 6 weeks or permanent use?
Permanent use. That distinction changes the answer completely. The schedule says special monthly compensation is assignable during the 100% period from the earliest date permanent use of crutches is established. So the temporary rating and an SMC award can run together, which almost nobody claims.
So what's the actual rep here? Erica, give them the one thing to do. Mine is a written question to the surgeon's office. total or partial, in writing.
You're right that this looks like free money, and I want to be honest about the other side of it. This is a temporary rating that ends on a schedule, and when it ends, the reduction is automatic. That's not a denial, it's the code. If you're already at 100% combined, or already drawing a rate this can't beat, chasing it changes very little, and there are better places to spend the effort. But if you're sitting in the 30s or 40s, 5 months at the total rate is real money. The honest version is that the paperwork, not the surgery, decides whether you get it.
And if you hold one number from this, hold the 4, not the 12.
2 things to carry. Hip and knee pay 100% for 4 months under codes 5054 and 5055, with the convalescent month in front of it. Shoulder, elbow, wrist, and ankles still pay it for a full year. If this saved you a phone call, hit like and subscribe so the next veteran heading into surgery sees it before they sign the consent form. I'll answer this one myself first. If I had a replacement scheduled tomorrow, the first thing I'd ask is which joint code it falls under, because that single answer is worth $30,000. So here's what I want from you. Did anyone at the VA or the hospital tell you your replacement came with a temporary 100% rating? Read the code, not the rumor. I'm Professor Erica, and I'll see you at the next one.